Alright, yeah, and welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and we are back for the final time on the channel with the blue-white Nexus combo list. I might come back to this one when Azorius comes back out. It depends on the pieces that are there, but I'm going to be tweaking this deck constantly, I think. But without further ado, let's not waste any time. Let's get into the games, and I'll see you there. Okay, we're in, and we have an interesting hand because we have the two islands, which I would have preferred one to be a plains to help us get towards the Revitalize and the Cleansing Nova, apologies. But we do have Anticipate, which allows us to look at 3 cards, plus the top deck, of course. I think we can find the white in that time, and then that'll probably get us towards Chemist's Insight eventually, and guarantee these Novas. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting hand. We'll have to see if we have an interesting opponent. It's a white deck. Alright, I haven't seen one of those in a very long time. Yep, that's Glacial Fortress. We'll take that. Past the turn over, we have Ritual of Rejuvenation and Revitalize now. Ooh, black-white. Esper Control, possibly, but they usually lead off with blue if it is. We'll have to see. Could be Vampires. Somebody trying to make that work. I want to go back to all of the Ixalan tribal decks at some point. Played Merfolk. That one's that one's sketchy, to say the least. But yeah, I wouldn't mind trying out Vampires and things like that. Vampires always get a little bit of love, I would say, most sets. Merfolk, not so much. You gonna Field of Ruin my Glacial Fortress? Okay. Okay. If I float that, I pay 1, I've got 3 mana left open. Yeah, it doesn't really add any mana for an extra play. So, sure, whatever. Take planes. I'm going to be Chemisting anyway. I think that's the optimal play. It looks like it is. Esper Control, yep. Search for his Canter. So, let's Chemistus. Ooh, a search of our own is really good, because we will be able to flip it before our opponent. Land, actually we haven't made our land drop, have we? So I should anticipate for one. Ew. That's awkward. I think I'll take the Opt as the cheaper cantrip. A Ritual of Soot is a dead card. So I'm looking for Primal Amulet at this point. I can't graveyard that, because if I graveyard it, winning becomes very difficult. So I'm going to have to take it. And let's go land drop. Not land drop, Opt, sorry. I was thinking if we hit a Sinister Sabotage, we can hold that open for potential Teferi shenanigans next turn. So I think I will. And then we can discard a Cleansing Nova, because I don't think it's going to be particularly useful. There's still like settles in the deck and things like that anyway. So we'll let this resolve. Very rare do you want to actually counter card draw. I don't think my opponent's really suffering from bad cards in hand. They're just choosing not to play half of them. So do we get the greedy I want to play Teferi right now move? He's at 3, I'm at 7 cards in my graveyard, so I get to flip mine, which is awesome. Let's anticipate. There's an Amulet. I'm just hoping that the black isn't going to screw us over in his deck. Maybe Thought Erasures, and definitely things like Unmoored Ego in the sideboard are going to be very annoying. I'm going to bottom this one. I'm hoping for my land drop for the turn. Yeah. We're going to be flipping Amulet as well. So let's graveyard that. Transform. He's used his Field of Ruin up now because he was getting very impatient with his mana. And we're 1 mana short actually of Primal Amulet plus Sinister Sabotage, which I think is something that we need to make sure happens. So I'm going to pass. There's no way Teferi is a particularly good option for us here, because not only will he probably be running Vraska's Contempts, but he'll also just counter the crap out of it. So I'd rather go for the Banefire, where we can potentially just Banefire him for 20 in the late game. Interesting. Just passing. I'm going to use Chemisters, I think. Discard Cleansing Nova. I'm just really hoping he's not running Chromium. If he's running Chromium, we still have Settles in the deck. It's not much of a problem there. There's a Settle anyway. Alright, I just really wanted to make sure that we hit our land drop, and I don't want to use my cantrips, because that's how I'm going to flip my Amulet really quick. So, Primal Amulet, with Sinister Sabotage backup. Sinister Sabotage, let's try and force it through. Looks like it goes. Alright. And Glacial Fortress into the graveyard. Okay, so as long as he doesn't like slap down Teferi and then minus on our Amulet, then we're going to be able to do some fun stuff. We'll have to see what happens. Another Field of Ruin and a Teferi. Must be nice. Leaves it alone though. Okay. I guess because he's got the Field of Ruin, he's not that bothered about Primal Amulet. That might be his line of thinking. He's also got his Azcanta online as well, which is upsetting to say the least. Okay. So, what do we do here? I think we set up the Primal Amulet flip with an Azcanta in play. We'll have to do it on his turn, most likely. If I play Teferi, he eats a counterspell. We don't have one to back it up, so like the cantrip and try to flip Primal Amulet plan also kind of fortifies us Teferi tucking his Teferi. And if we can end step our Amulet and he leaves it alone as well. Ooh. Anything we can do here? Anything I'd want to do here? Probably not. Yeah, if we can get an untap with the Wellspring, then the Banefire alone might be worth it. We only have to X10 our Banefire, so...
No time for a break.
If I can just slap that one through one time, that'd be pretty sweet. I think at this stage, though, he's just pretty much got no reason to tap out, though. Which is really annoying. So, Revitalize. Revitalize. Opt. I think I'll Chemisters. And there's Nexus. Okay. So what I'm thinking is that I flip Amulet on my turn. In response, he goes to Field of Ruin it, and I can Nexus doubled and take at least one extra turn to see what I can do with that while he's locked up. I think that's the best course of action. Do I go for the Chemisters without transforming for the cost reduction? No, I think we untap. It's a shame we don't have one extra mana though. If he goes for the Field of Ruin now, that'd be hilarious. No, he's just gonna go for that. Alright, so play an island. Play an opt. to flip the Amulet. Next time priority's passed, he'll go to Wellspring. We will then Nexus to hopefully take 2 extra turns. Most likely just 1, though. But even 1 extra turn with a completely tapped out board should be enough. Oh, wow. Oh, wow, he's giving us 2 extra turns. That I never saw coming. I'd never anticipated that being a thing. Let's get a Plains. Bottom that. I'd love to find another Amulet. Let's play Search for Azcanta. I don't think he's got a counter spell that can counter a Nexus of Fate. Graveyard. Decline. Sabotage. So we've got this turn and the next. So Azcanta, go digging. Yeah. Whiff. Thins our deck though, so that's fine, I guess. 1 mana short of a Teferi plus Sabotage. So I'm gonna Chemisters, discard the Settle the Wreckage. Might as well have a land for our land drop for the turn. Ritual. For another Ritual. 20 cards left in our deck. Graveyard, Decline. Another Sabotage. So we've got 18 cards. I get to see 4 of them with an Azcanta. The shuffled in is 3 out of 18 are Nexus of Fates. I can Ritual once to look that way as well. 2, 3, 8 mana. 5, 6. Yeah, so I think I can Azcanta first. Because I can still Teferi. Ooh. Well, I might as well just take the Nexus, I think. And just go for another turn. Yes? Yeah, let's just take another turn. He hasn't got a counter. Or at least... Haha! He made it out like he didn't have a counter. Clever girl. Clever girl. Alright, well, you get a turn. But I have Teferi plus double Sabotage next turn. And an active Azcanta. And 2 active Azcantas, really.
Skip to the good part.
It's possible maybe I should have just taken the Amulet there. Because then I could just enter the counter war to flip the Amulet and then Banefire him. But he has got a Teferi on 7, so I do need to tuck it. 5, 6, 7, 2, 5, 6, 7. Sabotage. I could counter twice with my Teferi. So I'm pretty sure the Teferi's going bye-bye. I'm going to graveyard that. Decline. There's Nexus. Okay, so Teferi. Enter the counter war. This Teferi's gonna tuck his Teferi.
Let's slow this down.
To slow this down. And now he's gonna try and Vraskas me. Because he hasn't had an opportunity to do that for a very long time. Vraskas gets countered. I don't know how much I fight over this, to be honest. Because he could just follow up with his own. What am I even doing on my turn if I don't fight over this? Yeah, I think I just do. Go for it. That one goes. Alright. Planes into the yard. Because with the Teferi in play, 15 cards in my deck, and a guaranteed Nexus loop, we win on the Teferi ult.
I'm not ready for this quite yet.
Let's see if we can make the Teferi ult happen. Huh. No. Okay. There's his Teferi.
Sorry, I'm late.
But it's back to 4 now, so we've bought ourselves some time. Amulet to the top, decline that. We're gonna Amulet and just hope that we haven't run out of counter spells to fight over this. Yeah, okay, well, I take an extra turn. And how many amulets is that? 1, 2, just 2. So in the 14 cards, there's 2 more amulets. Decline. There's Nexus. So, as Cantor, there's Amulet. 5, just a little short of Amulet plus Nexus, so let's Nexus. Because as Cantor can go get me Nexus. Graveyard that. Decline that. Amulet plus Nexus. And we win. Pretty confident about that. Cantrip. Got 11 cards, 3 of them are Nexus. We have the Banefire already in hand, ready to go. So we just need to flip this Amulet, which the Nexuses will do. And we've got it. Okay, so that's land. Graveyard it. Decline. That's a land. 7 cards. I get to see 4, and 3 of them are Nexuses. Wow, okay. Didn't expect that to happen. We get to order our cards now. Should be fine though. So we get to draw 2 cards. Transform Amulet. And there's Nexus of Fate. Take 2 extra turns. Not that we need them, because we're going to Banefire our opponent's face on the next turn. Graveyard. Decline. Land drop. Alright, 3 cards left in our deck. So, 1, 9, 10, 16. Banefire. Let me just double check that, because if it accidentally... I'm going to 7... Hang on. I'll have to count it, because sometimes when you don't do it right, it leaves the Wellspring until last, and that will end the game for me. So 1, 2, 10, 16. Yes, guaranteed. I've actually lost a game where I've miscounted because there's been an Amulet for cost reduction, and it leaves the Wellspring's special mana still in your pool, and yeah, it's very upsetting when that happens. Alright, game 1 down against Esper Control, which is not a game that we usually win game 1 on. Usually we win game 2 with negates and unwinds and bindings. So we'll have to see. They do bring in Chromium, so I do have to worry about Chromium. For that... What's better? Do they bring in Shalai? Is Shalai something I need to worry about? Because if Shalai is something I need to worry about, then Nova is better than Settle the Wreckage. I'm not quite sure on that one. Settle is better if it's just Chromium, because Chromium flashes in, and obviously Nova's sorcery speed, but I don't think I'd be on lethal to Chromium range. So yeah, maybe I'll go the Novas down the Settles. I think that's the way we want to go. I know they have Unmoored Ego as their sideboard option, but we have plenty of negates and unwinds and sabotages, so we shouldn't be Unmoored Ego'd out unless we get really unlucky. I might go down to 2 Novas. We only need to deal with like 1 Chromium. He knows about Teferi and Banefire, so he knows about both of them. He could also name Nexus of Fate, which would be upsetting, to say the least. I don't want to go down. I guess the rituals, the life gain's not that relevant. And we can take a more blue heavy hand if the lands are the case, since we know that we're not going to be using white all that much. And I guess we go Revitalize Ops and just trim the bottom. Let's try that. Still need our cantrips, of course, because we can't flip Amulet without them. Well, I've proven that we can, but it takes a very long time of going down to 3 cards in your deck before you can. Okay, Null, a very heavy white hand, so against what we thought we were going for, but we do get to negate early on, plus cantrips. I think this one's fine. He goes 1, we go 1, he goes 2, we go 2, he goes 3 on Mod Ego, we have negate. Yeah, we're fine. That's the worrying situation, is that we get egoed. It's happened before, and it's very annoying. Turn 2 search is very annoying for us. So we're going to have to pass. We can't, even if we had turn 2 search, I would never play it there, because of course on Mod Ego on turn 3 is absolutely backbreaking. It is sorcery speed though, so I am free to anticipate for a Glacial Fortress. More lands is the last thing I wanted to see. Okay, pass the turn. So, Azcanta does its thing. Even if we found our Azcanta later in the process, I mean, we should be just fine all the same. I know what I'm looking for. I don't want lands. So I'm going to anticipate. Sabotage is probably better than Amulet right now, since I won't be playing it down this turn, and we just luckily draw into it anyway. But yeah, I don't want to be playing this until like turn 7, when I can hold up on my Sabotage at the same time. 2 cards in our yard. He's got none in his. He's keeping all of his cards. That's really powerful for him, I guess. Alright, well, anticipate. What am I looking for now? What do I want? It's just more counterspells, really, isn't it? Just need to load up with them. Yeah, so still anticipate the better option for loading up with a card that you actually want. And I guess I can Revitalize as well. I don't think you can do anything to me in that time. Ooh, Binding's lovely. Alright. 3 counterspells. The Primal Amulet that we need. We've run out of cantrips, but once it's down, it should be easy enough to sort out. Wow, he dumps a Sabotage? Oh, that's a handful of counters if I've ever seen one. Okay, we're up to 6 mana now. Need the 7th land next turn, though. I need to luckily draw into it. Shocks it in. Nexus of Fate? Why would you shock it in? Ah, there's Chromium. Aha, see? We knew about you. Can't be countered, though. So, we'll let it go. Let's drop probably the, I want to say the Binding. I suppose the excess Primal Amulet's not really necessary either. Because I'm not going to be binding Chromium because he can discard a card to make it hexproof, so I'm just going to Cleansing Nova. And just hope to God that we can get that going. Chemisters. It's not really what I needed, because now I can't counter with Nova with counter backup. Chemisters to hit a land drop. Maybe. Is the option. We hold up and negate regardless. This needs to be forced through. He's got this down early enough, though, which is very annoying. There's our land drop, so we get to hold up and sabotage. Discard... Binding, I think, at this stage. Is he at now? One card in his graveyard. Dumps a Disdainful Stroke. How annoying. Yeah, I'm probably going to need to find the other Nova, because this likely eats 2 counter spells. Have to enter this counter war, though. I have no choice. We're dead in 2 turns. There's one. Do I use the... I think I use the more mana efficient Sabotage here. It's going to get countered anyway. Yeah. Alright. We either need to take our opponent off of cards or find our other board wipe. Thief of Sanity. Alright, I'm officially bringing in some Settle the Wreckages. If you're bringing in Thief of Sanities. We're just dead now. That's unfortunate. Chemisters. Discard. Planes. Land. Yeah, that won't do it. Alright, game number 3. I always forget that they bring in Thief of Sanities. I always think it's just Chromium. Who'd have thunk it? 1 Nova. 2 Settles. I think I'll just bring in more board wipes over. Not even just cantrips, I think. The Revitalizers. Can I adjust my mana base? Dang it. Yeah, you have to put lands in your sideboard if you want to do that. It'd be nice, because we've significantly skewed into blue, so that is... It's not a problem if we had our Hallowed Fountains, which come from the next set, but it's kind of annoying in this one. Anyway, let's try it like that. Plenty of answers to Chromium. Okay. Board wipe City. No counter spells though. We could potentially just lose on turn 3 to an Unmoored Ego. Mulligan. That is a mana screwed hand that needs a land on top, and I'm on the play. Mulligan. Alright then. It could be so much worse. Yeah. Alright. Anticipate to dig for something nice. I don't think we're winning game 3. I think we're just going to lose to a bad hand. Search for his Canter. We get the Sabotage. Alright, I'll take that. And more lands. Play a land, pass. Well, we have Settle the Wreckage mana, we have Sabotage mana. We just don't really have a way to refill our hands, though. My opponent's holding up a counterspell for a card that I would never play. Vraska's Contempt into the yard. They usually think we're running more than 1 Teferi, which is their failure. Yeah, take that. We've also got our top deck as well. Go for it. So I need the Amulet, but I also need the land. I think if we have any hope of winning this game, I have to just hope he doesn't have a counterspell and run this Amulet down, but we all know that never happens. I'm gonna have to, though. Go, do your thing. Counter. This game's done. There's no hope for it. No plays from him, though. Okay. Two cards in the yard. Well, regardless of how this goes, like, this was a pretty crappy game 3 for us. It's a pretty good game 3 for him. But I can be happy saying that we had an amazing game 1, and that made all of this worthwhile. So even though we're going to lose, still come away from it feeling quite happy about myself. Unwind, okay. It's a nice draw, I suppose. I guess it's not over yet. Maybe I'm getting a little too ahead of myself, but usually the way that the games go with this one, this game's over at this point. But it's just going to be long-winded. Especially when we draw settler wreckages. I only need 1. Maybe 2. Yeah, okay. It's good for him discarding to hand size because it gets him towards his Azcanta quicker. It's bad for us discarding to hand size because we get no value from it. Not until we find our Azcanta. We got 4 cards to his 3 though. So we're still ahead. If I can end step a Nexus, that'd be awesome. Baits out a counter and allows me to do something on my turn. Potentially. I mean, he's at 7 mana now, so this could just be the end step Chromium. I guess if he end step Chromiums, I end step Nexus of Fate. Yeah, and now I get to Cleansing Nova away the Chromium. And that's a problem solved. Three for 5. Yeah, that really needed to be... I really needed another land there so I could hold up and unwind or sabotage. I'm going to Nexus again. Let's see if we can get a land drop. Or a negate. That's Banefire. Alright, well. While he can't do anything about it, kill his creature. Okay, pass the turn. Pretend we have negate. I don't think he'd be afraid of us having negate though, because he can do most of what he wants to do in his hand and counter. 1 land drop means he can Teferi plus sabotage. He might even just have another Chromium. Opt for a land. No, not at this point. I need better things than that. Negate. I guess he's fine. How many cards? 4. I hate when he does this. I want to see the number and just, yeah, the tips go over it. I don't want to turn the tips off though, because, you know, when I hover a card like this, some people might want to know what they mean. So it's kind of a loose situation for me. Alright, let's pass. He's got another Chromium. Chemisters. I could use my free Unwind. I don't think it's worth it though. Okay, 5 cards. Like, it's fine there, because the stack is in the way. It's almost at Azcanta. I believe they only run 1. But I could be wrong about that. I've never actually really looked at the list, but I would only run 1, I think, if I was them. We lose the counter war on this Amulet. Unless his hand is actual garbage. Which I don't think it is, because he'll have removed all of his creature removal. Which leaves 2 amulets in the deck. We won with 2 amulets in the deck last time. But it leaves me completely tapped out. So I think I just pass. I can't be untapped. I'm completely tapped out against this deck. It unmod egos too much. Yep, sure. What do we discard here? I want to say settle the wreckage, but I feel like that's incorrect. It could be binding. It's certainly not Banefire, and I don't think it's Amulet. Because that's just as good as playing it into a counterspell this turn. Would have been the same effect. I think it's probably settle the wreckage. One should do just fine. Now he gets to flip his Azcanta, so I think that's game over now. Game over, man. Duress. Unwind. You are not allowed to take the win con out of my hand. Sabotage. He's got one more counter, then he wins and he takes Banefire, I'm assuming. I have to fight over it though, because otherwise Teferi's my out and I know he's... I suppose he's been dumping Vraska's Contempts constantly. So it wouldn't be the end of the world if he actually got rid of that. I'm going to Sabotage so we set up the top of our deck if this does go through. Okay. Well, I get to drop down an Amulet if you don't take it. I've got a lot of good action here. And the worst he can do is negate whatever I play. Or Disdainful Stroke, and it's as good as negated. Yeah, he's taking Banefire. Alright, so we Amulet. This isn't completely a win, because he can just try and Teferi Tuck, but we can at least try to negate 34 cards in his deck, and then he's Azcantering every other turn. It's going to be tough. Invoke the Divine. Yeah, you're allowed to do that. Go for it. He knows about this negate, so anything he does is likely just bait. That's the last thing I wanted to see. Yep, land drop, and... what? A non-land permanent. Okay. Go for it. I was just binding it since I've drawn all of them. Do you really counter this? I would use my Teferi to unlock my Voner if I cared that much. Syncopate. Sure. That's fine. If he's syncopating X5 to tap out completely, I think that means he's got no counters left. I'm not using this negate willy-nilly. I need to use it when it really matters. And when it really matters is when he tries to slap down any kind of Planeswalker. I can always go for the binding next turn, and if it ever resolves, then I obviously know that I can freely go for the binding. Our only win con now is a Teferi ult, so I need protection. Okay, so try for the binding again. If this is an Azcanta search, then we're in an interesting spot. Yep, sure. I'll take another 4. It's still slipping away, but at least I can end step Chemisters. There's the Teferi, and that's not going to resolve. Or at least I'm going to attempt it.
That didn't pan out.
No, it did not. Yeah, I think he ran out of counters trying to stop me from binding. And that's a really good sign for us. That's not a really good draw, though. Binding away his threat. He can chemist us to look for a counter spell. I don't know how many he's used, though, but... Contempts his own Vona, so he's got multiple Vonas in his deck. And he has no way of dealing with a Teferi anymore. That's very interesting. He doesn't know about this Chemisters, so it's an unknown card in my hand, so it could easily be a counterspell. Bugger. Yeah, that's all of my bindings. That's the last time I can deal with Teferi, other than just Teferi tucking myself. Well, that sucks.
I can no longer stand by and watch. Keep up the pace.
Yeah, okay. Now we're in trouble. That's probably where the game ends, unfortunately. Alright, I'm just going to chemist us now. Unless we can just go off. Which search is a good start. We've already got the flipping amount in hand. 4, 5, 6, 7. I can anticipate for Nexus just for an extra draw. Negate. Okay, I'll take the negate. Play search. And I have end step Chemisters. He has end step as Canter, but I'm about to have that as well. Oh my god, he's got another Chromium. Okay. And I don't have Settle with Negate, but I do have Cleansing Nova, so I have 2 board wipes.
You know what? I'm not done yet.
I can't really use this Chemisters, though. Because I don't want to dump Negate. So let's try and settle Chromium. So I might not even need this Nova if this can settle. He has the Sabotage. Okay. Let's counter in an island. Something good. That's a land. Transform. That's more lands. I guess I don't need the land anymore. If I could go 4, 5, 6... I could, as Canter, hit Nexus, play the land, take an extra turn. He's used all of his sabotages right now, haven't he? 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got Disdainful Strokes, which I think are about a 2 and a 3 of in his deck. He's used 1. What's in his exile? Vona. I mean, I could just Cleansing Nova. Yeah, I think this is just fine. Just wipe his Chromium away. We have Negate to force it through. I risk just dying with that line, but I do think it's the better line. Just gonna let this happen. Just counter the counterspell. Because he doesn't have it. And if he's just drawn it, then we win the counter war unless he's drawn 2. Which is unlikely, statistically. God, this match is so good. Ah, it's just... This is the best kind of match. The back and forth. Alright. My opponent cannot threaten lethal on me anymore. I have an Escanta trigger. $28 cards. He's got 1 Chemisters here, so he can draw some cards, yeah. He's running out of ways to interact with me, though. I think that's the big takeaway here. Like, you can draw all the cards he wants, but If they're not counter spells, he can't stop me from doing whatever I need to do. Yeah.
Hurry!
I just need to kill him in the next few turns so that Teferi doesn't murder me. Well, there's a negate. That's unfortunate. Alright. I have to pull the trigger on that if he's got anything solid to follow it up with. Then he has. Another search. Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to wait until my end step before I Azcanta, because he could just unmod Ego in response to the reveal. Or duress me if he's got an extra one. Alright. Now we'll go for it. Amulet. I think Amulet's... Yeah, Amulet's the best one. Because it'll probably drop. If he minuses his Teferi, he's bought us time anyway. So, play Amulet. I Azcanta... Yeah, Azcanta goes 4 cards, Chemisters goes 2. So I Azcanta for a counter spell. And we hit Chemisters. So I've got 1 more Amulet left in my deck. Okay. And he knows I haven't got a counter now, which is problematic. Technically, I don't actually need Amulet to win. It's just really easy to do so if I can flip it. Because if I can get down to Teferi on board plus Nexus loop, I just win that way. So it's just a matter of getting there.
No time for a break.
And I think we've run out of time to do that, though, with Teferi on 8. Nexus. Let's play Nexus. Have you found another counter? Good God. If he's found the counter, we lose. Syncopate X5. Yeah, that's game. Ults the Teferi. It's not game, I suppose. Not just yet. Because he might tick up again, which buys us an extra turn. We can still Teferi loop, because if he doesn't get an extra turn, then he's not drawing cards, which means I'm not exiling permanents.
I don't do this lightly.
Let's see if he has... That's Thief of Sanity. That's not a card draw spell. Azcanta, look for Nexus. Or Amulet. Nexus is there. Azcanta. Yeah, Azcanta. Extra turn. Now we have the Azcanta ticking. Oh, you got Syncopate again. Oh, he's got the Disdainful Stroke. No. Okay. Exiles a permanent, which is going to be Azcanta. Now things get real difficult, but we have only 23 cards. We needed to be a lot lower than that. Maybe Thief can help us out. Down to 3. We have 1 extra turn because of Thief. He's milling us. Took something better than a counterspell. And he has the Field of Ruin. Okay. Graveyard. Transform. I have to go for this. He fields in response. I thin my deck before I look. So we'll go get some blue. $17 cards. to Fairy. Well, we lose to Fairy, but we took his Thief, which I think is fine. Oh, if we lose to Fairy, though. If we lose to Fairy, we're just dead, right? So I can't play it. Yeah, we can't win if Teferi gets exiled. All I could do is Nexus loop like a degenerate who should be banned. And that won't do me much good. Opt just to find a Nexus. If I find a Nexus, that means this Thief isn't taking it. Ugh. So yeah, what I'll do is I'll Chemisters twice, just to draw 4 cards. So that he doesn't get the pick of 3. And just hope that they're Nexus. I shouldn't hit this pass turn button, because there's so many horrible things that could happen on end step. 15 to 15. Ends the turn. He has Canters. Duress. Oh god. Yeah, that's gonna be a game if Chemisters doesn't hit a negate. Is he even binding? I'm being BM'd. I am being BM'd here. Or unless he wants this game to go on longer, because I don't think he realizes that I have outs. But he does take... I don't have outs anymore. No more outs for me. I can't put anything back into my graveyard. I bet this hits my counter spells. Let's have a look. If he doesn't take Teferi, then we have game. If he takes it, we're down. We're dead. You gonna disdainful stroke me? No. Alright. Okay, moment of truth. Does Amulet look more appetizing? Probably not. I would take Teferi, I think, even not knowing my deck. My opponent doesn't like winning! Okay. Alright then. This is real. Oh, it didn't take Nexus either. He must have hit 2 Nexuses, right? Yeah, there it is. Alright, if he didn't hit Nexus there, then we could have won. But now he gets the extra turn to hit us for an extra bit of damage. And that's game. I was so close though. So goddamn close. Down to a lucky 3 cards on the sanity from, what, 13 cards? Had to hit one of our 2 Nexuses and he hit both. That is crazy. Alright, well, that is going to do it for today's episode. And watch my rank drop to nothing. Good job, it doesn't matter. Good times. Oh, it paused for a minute. And then it carried on. It was like, you thought we stopped going down? Haha, joke's on you. Well, I hope you guys really enjoyed that match, because I thought that was awesome. I really enjoyed that. If you did enjoy it, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that little bell icon. If you want one more match with this deck as well, I do offer it as a reward for supporting on Patreon or even subscribing via Twitch. It'll get you access to a private Discord as well, where we discuss all sorts of wonderful things, but also a reward video for every single deck that I build as part of a weekly series. Gets an additional video, and you can watch all of them that have been made up until that point, but it's completely up to you guys. It's only a thank you for supporting the channel and allowing me to do what I do. So thank you very much for those who do that, and anyone who considers it, thank you very much as well. Other than that, guys, like and subscribe, hit that little bell icon as well, and you'll get notifications when I release brand new videos in the future. I hope you've all enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.